Okay.
How do you choose to close this part with Rina?
The names here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Participant. Close.
Yep. I'm going to start just in case. You look awesome. Can't even tell that you work from home or you're in quarantine.
It's good.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, once in a while I do check the comments from people.
I can close this. Oh, okay, it's good because this was a small screen.
One second. And I need my questions next to me. How are things in France?
It's crazy.
Really?
Crazy, yeah. Because Macron, you know Macron, our president?
Yeah.
Announced on Thursday that the quarantine will be finished in 30 days.
30 days?
Yeah. So we are going to organize the reopening of dental offices and other health centers, but we don't give some information about PPE, precautions, and other things. So thanks, Tiger, to make all this webinar because I listen all this information to share this. Yeah, to my friend, I spend a lot of time with dentists in order to explain this mask and not this mask. We have an organization in US and and it's crazy.
Wow, I'm happy to hear that some of our content was helpful.
Yeah. You know, my friend told me just this afternoon. I don't know how to create a circuit in my offices in order to protect my patient and our team. We don't know how to do.
Hey. What's up?
Good morning.
Now it's the party. Hey guys, so it's 8 o'clock in the morning in New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
It's 10 o'clock.
Make up at 8 o'clock in the morning for 4 weeks.
Wow, that's amazing. It's 10 p.m. or 22 in Emilie. Where are you at? What's the city?
In Toulouse. Toulouse, in the south of France, and it's 10 p.m.
Yeah, and it's 3 p.m. in Chicago. So this is amazing. Well, so first of all, thank you guys so much. We're really excited. I'm recording. Yeah. So I'm excited. I knew from the day it happened, I really wanted to get the perspective from around the world and what's going on because the dental community is small. And, I'm super happy that you were able to join on a short notice. And hopefully we'll be able to just talk a little bit about what's going on and what ideas and how what you had to do and things like that. So that's going to be the conversation. That's what I was hoping to do the conversation for today. Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So let's start just maybe like a quick introduction. What you guys are up to. The offices, I know Emilie is the consulting. Nic and Jackie, you guys own a dental practice. So let's just start a little bit about your backgrounds and the dental background.
In France? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. France first.
It's for me. I'm working with dentists in order to help them in their management because they don't know how to do with human resource and supplies and other things. And today, my job is very important because I was explaining to Tiger. We are going to finish our quarantine in 30 days, and we don't have some information about the government. We don't know how to use as PPE, how to do with the patient, and I'm listening a lot of webinar and thanks Tiger for that, in order to have some information. So our situation is a little crazy, but we are going to solve this problem quickly.
Yeah. Thank you, Emilie. Yeah.
I think touching on what you said here, we're much the same. We actually don't know when we're coming out of quarantine, but the information coming from the Dental Council and that it's very slow. We're not really sure, if when we come out of this, what we're going to be able to do, when we're going to be able to do it, how to use the correct gear. So it's all it's all kind of up in the air at the moment.
And also, the communication from the Dental Council in New Zealand to us has been quite poor. Like they haven't really. It's very unclear. It's so ambiguous. We don't really know actually what the rule is, and I don't think they know it either.
Yeah, no one really knows. Yeah, it's tough.
That is interesting. The same in the US. ADA, the American Dental Association, nothing. Like they have the guidelines, but everybody says it's just so vague. Nobody knows exactly what that means. Like what is emergency, right? Like it's so interesting. Are any of the offices in France or for you guys, your office or is anybody open for emergencies? And how do emergencies are defined for you?
Yeah. So our practice, there are a few practices that are open for emergencies. But the definition of that is, if you're in pain or there's an infection that can't be treated without just medicine alone. So within our practice, we've seen a few patients over the last couple of weeks, just trying to get people out of pain, really. And you just kind of just trying to do what you can do as safely as possible.
Mm-hmm. Interesting, Emilie.
In France, you can work. You can open your dental office for emergency and other treatments. But the big problem is the lack of PPE. We have a list with the emergency, 10 for a day. But the order of doctor, it is the name of an organization, give us just the number of patients. According to the number of patients, you have the number of masks. So you are limited.
So who's limiting it? Like there's no freedom for you to go and buy the masks? Like how does it work?
The government give masks to the organization, and the organization gives the mask to doctor with the list of emergency. Okay, today I have 10 patients. Give me some mask according to this list.
Wow.
Not more.
Okay,
it's quite different.
So we have a lack of mask for organize the reopening. No mask for dentists and other professions. At the hospital, some people are creating a mask with shirt and other things.
Wow. So offices, like the dental clinics can be open, like can see patients, but the problem is the PPE.
Yeah.
And somebody assigns the patients to you and says, these are the PPE for these patients.
Yeah.
Wow. That sounds like Russia.
You can work, but no problem. You can work.
Interesting. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But if we take a couple of weeks back, I'm just curious because in the beginning of March, I don't know, how did it hit each country? How did it hit you guys? Because I know that in the US, it started as a flu. Everybody was like, well, we're just going to sneeze it, cough it out, and let's go. Nobody could imagine that anything will stop at all, right? So how was it for you guys? How, like individual in each country, how did you see it coming? Did you see it coming? And then what was the reaction?
We didn't. We were having like daily staff meetings. You would meet at lunchtime with the staff to have a quick, right, well, this is where we're at the moment. This is the story. By 2:00 in the afternoon, it completely changed. It was within hours, everything was changing. And kind of probably for us, within 2 days, we were pretty much shut down.
Yeah.
It happened really fast. So it was you couldn't prepare for anything. So it was just close the doors, see you later, and then try and pick up the pieces.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Emilie, for you guys?
As I wrote in my article, it was very curious because it was a Sunday, a Saturday night. Mr. Macron announced this news. Okay, all will stop on Monday. Okay. I was in my dental office and I was working, and the night they announced that all the activity will stop on Monday without explanation. So
yeah.
Wow.
And actually, for us, our country had 2 days for universities to empty, for kids to try to get home to their parents. Flights were hard, it was really difficult to get flights. So people have been kind of somewhat stranded around our country in lockdown, without their families as well. So there's quite a social, component to this whole thing that mentally, the mental health of the people is in quite a sorry state.
Wow. That is so interesting. And what was the conversation like with your team? Like, I mean, I'm sure, like, Emilie, you're part of the team, and Nic and Jackie, you guys have a huge team. I mean, your office is gigantic. What the conversation is, and how do you take care of the team? And it's like,
well, it was. I mean, that's probably Jackie's role more than mine. But we just tried to be as transparent and as open as we could. And there were some people saying, "Oh, look, Nic and Jackie aren't telling us the truth and all that." And we were simply saying the information coming to us was, we were passing on everything straight away. It was just not coming to us. But just trying to manage as best we can. We really didn't want to lose any of our staff, so that when this does, when we do get back into gear, that we've got the right staff, we've got the experienced staff, we don't have to start again. So we were just really careful to just keep communicating with them, let them know what's happening. But it's not easy.
It's not. But the New Zealand government has given like a wage subsidy to like a full-time employees, so those that work over 20 hours. And so whilst our income has dropped by 90%, the government has also kind of put in place measures such as, mortgage holidays or interest-only terms, which meant that the wage subsidy that they gave us, when we pass that on to the staff, they are still having an income, during this time, although it's minimal. It's it's $585.80 per week. Like, it's really hard in our country to live on that. And so we've just been, communicating with our staff saying, stop all your subscriptions, gym memberships, anything you don't have to pay for. Don't have conversations with your landlords, talk to your banks, talk to your credit card, banks, just to try and, educate them to reduce any unnecessary outgoings during this time.
Wow. And how did the team react, like, during all these conversations? Because, I mean, you said they lost, with the government subsidy, the wage subsidy, they lost 20% of their income, right? Or more? Oh, wow.
50%, depending on how much they were earning, but, some of them 50% of their income. I think they really understood, New Zealand's kind of all in the boat together. I think that they realised that the options are, we either make a bunch of redundancies or we all take this hit. And Nic and I are on exactly the same wage subsidy as all our staff. Although we have 5 kids to feed, so $585 a week doesn't go very far.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to add to that as well, because the way it is in New Zealand as well, very much like it's difficult to be an employer. Like a lot of the employment law is based around giving as much rights to the employee as possible. So it was really interesting because if it wasn't to do with like a global pandemic, we'd have there'd be riots. There'd be all. It would be all against us and all that. But I suppose because just the whole nature of this beast is that they just understand it's out of our control. It's a global thing, so everyone's in the same boat. So it's been a real. I suppose we expected a lot more backlash from our employees, but they've actually been really good about it. So yeah, it's been interesting.
Wow, it's fascinating. It's so interesting. Emilie, how was it for you guys?
With the guys, well, because they have understand the situation, and they prefer stay at home and work only for emergency with dentists. And in France, I don't know for New Zealand, but we have an employment with insurance. So if the assistant don't work, they are paid with the same amount. So for her, we have 2 assistants. There are no problem because they can come for emergency if we have a lot of emergency, and they can stay at home for other time, and they are very flexible.
Mm-hmm.
We phone, okay, arrive, okay, I can spend a day with you, and tomorrow, okay, I stay at home and I wait. It's a good mindset.
Mm. What's that unemployment percentage-wise? It's not the 100%, right?
Right, under
100.
Yeah.
So it's the same that you were making. Now you're unemployed. You're making the same.
Yeah.
Wow. We should all move to France.
France?
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. But like the whole benefits insurance it's all the same for the team members, right? Like for nurses,
yeah.
Like unemployed, they still get the same benefits, like insurance. It's all the same.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating. So what motivates people to get back to work?
That is a problem in France.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
well, I heard.
Yes, I was discussing with my friend dentist, and I say the situation in France and in USA is very different because we don't scare by the loss of money because we have an health insurance, and we know that our patient will come back with the reopening. The insurance will pay for the treatments, and in USA it's not the same. So we know that when the door will open, the big problem will be to organize a lot of patients, and not the money and the close of dental office because we have an economic problem. Very different.
That's interesting. We talk a lot about this. What are your thoughts when this whole thing is over and we don't know how and when? Like France is 30 days. US is talking about different phases. There are 3 phases right now in US and how they're going to open up the economy. New Zealand, nothing is known. When it's known, when we know that it's going to be open, do you think you're going to open the doors and patients are going to come back from like red to green? Or it's going to be red to yellow and then essentially green?
Red.
Right now it's red, but how it's going to come back? Red to green or red to yellow?
Red to green, I know.
Red to green?
Yeah. Because they received a lot of messages on their phone in order to know when do you open, when can I schedule my take an appointment on Dr. Lib or the ZocDoc or other platform. So we know that patients are waiting for their treatment. Yeah.
Interesting. What do you guys think?
I don't think it's going to be quite the same for us. I don't know.
I think just to give it some context, our business is different in the fact that we have a large orthodontic component.
Yeah.
So, you know, our orthodontic department is going to be smashed. You know, like we are going to be inundated with patients because we've got wires popping, you know, brackets off and, you know, lost retainers. The general dental side of things is going to be really interesting because the economy has taken such a hit that I don't know how much New Zealanders will have of expendable income. So I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. We're not sure how it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, after old enough have been through this kind of before, well, not this, but you know, the GFC in 2007. It was, you know, I suppose it's going to have some similarities to that.
Yeah.
And for our practice, we actually did pretty well for the very reason what Jackie's talking about with the orthodontic patients. They'll keep going because they're on I suppose a long-term plan. But the general dental side of things, it probably took a good 12 to 18 months to recover after the GFC, and we're probably down about 50% over that time. So I'm probably expecting something similar to that, maybe a little bit worse. I don't know, but we're just going to have to be prepared for that.
Interesting. We talk about this in the US too. Most of the people think that it's going to be a red-yellow for quite a while. Mm-hmm. And what really affects the yellow, I don't think it's for US, I don't think it's going to be the financial reasons, even though we don't know. A lot of people are unemployed, but it's also a government is subsidizing a lot of financials, like people getting checks and wire transfers. And I don't think it's going to be quite financially, but a lot of patients are going to be concerned with infection control because there's some fear about the dental and aerosol and how it's going to be handled. So, and I think that's where that yellow is going to be of not knowing how patients are going to react to the dentistry overall, as far as like, you know, things flying around. So that's where the U.S. offices are concerned. And that's, I think next Wednesday, we're going to have a person to talk about these things and how the local government agencies are going to be recommending different things, sterilizing, infection control, like, like instruments and cleaning and all that stuff. So this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when things started to get a little bit more clear that, you know, you're going to be shutting down. So, and maybe Nic and Jackie, we can start with you. Like, what was your reaction like? Because now you have all this time in the world, and I don't know. I mean, if it's a lot of time in the world, because I'm sure you're busy with 5 kids. Now all the kids are home. Was it excitement in the beginning, or like, and then what happens 2 days after? Like, can you walk us through the first week?
A lot of like waking up every morning going, is this actually happening? Like, are we dreaming? Are we in some like perpetual nightmare or something like that? That's how I felt a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think for me, because it's been quite a stressful couple of weeks leading up to it, not really know because not knowing, and then as Jackie said, sort of waking up without anything to do. I almost like just slept for 2 days. It was almost like I went into like a shutdown. There was nothing I could do, which was really unusual for me because we're pretty busy people. So it's a really weird situation. It's trying to maintain some sense of routine as well, because it's very easy to fall into, staying up late watching Game of Thrones and stuff like that.
That was filmed in New Zealand, right?
No, that was Lord of the Rings. But
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
but it's really weird. Like it's hard to describe because we're now 3 weeks, over 3 weeks, and I mean it's been okay. A bit of time off work, a holiday at home, but just really strange.
How are the kids? Like, how they're reacting to this?
Well, so they were in a really unique position where the schools that they go to do a lot of their day-to-day learning on some kind of a device. So that meant that they were quite prepared for when schools shut down to go to online learning. So from the day we closed, and one of our kids was at boarding school, so we found out at 2:00 in the afternoon that the country was shutting down, and as of tomorrow, there's no school. There's a panic of needing to get him home. And then 9:00 the next morning, when every other school in the country was shut, they went on to online learning. So, then that was quite an interesting experience. And now they're actually into school holidays. So, which is, they're loving it, they just get to game all day because we're not really, we're not allowed to drive to the beach. We're not allowed to drive to the park to kick a ball around. We are not allowed to leave our house other than to walk around the block.
Walk the dogs or something like that. So
there's literally nothing to do. And we're coming into winter now, so the weather's turned a bit rubbish over the past few days. So.
But there's no restriction how far you can walk, or nobody says 100 meters, that's all you can walk, none of that?
I think you're supposed to be staying within your area. I think within 2 kilometers or 2 miles within your area, I think is pretty much the rule. And so unless you're close to a park, you can't really do much.
Yeah. Emilie, let's turn to you. How is the news that you're going to be staying home for unknown period of time, and now it looks like for 30 more days? How did it affect the schedule? How do you keep the routine, and how did you react to it?
I was excited because I think myself, okay, I can my yoga, I can make a lot of time to walk, to play with my daughters, and it's a good time. But it was the first week, and now it's difficult because I try to work a lot during the day, and I try to work on my computer, and children don't understand that I spend a lot of time with my computer, and it's difficult. But I try to stay safe, to work out. But in France, you can go out in order to without a document. I don't know if in New Zealand it's the same. You can have a fee if you go out without your document and your ID.
Yeah. Oh, so they're gonna charge fee for that if you do?
I have to charge something on my phone, and I have to take my ID in order to make a jogging, a run, or to make some to check my vegetables and other things. If I want to go in a shop, I need something, and I can go out only 1 hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we don't have quite those restrictions in terms of needing documentation, but there have been a lot of police stops on our roads to ensure that people are only traveling for essential reasons. So either if you're an essential worker, or if you're going to the supermarket or pharmacy, that's really the only things that we can do. The police have made quite a number of arrests for people that have been not following the rules. So groups gathering at a beach, or so if you've gone to check on your holiday house or something like that, there've been fines for things like that. But we don't need a documentation to go for a run.
Wow, that is interesting. Yeah, when this whole thing started, people, I think in the US it's difficult. I can see parks are still being packed, a lot of people in the parks. I think for us, what's really fascinating, to me at least it's interesting, is, before this whole thing started, one of the things about US is everybody's smiling to each other, right? You walk by and I'm from Russia. Like I go back once in a while, like once a year, like everybody's like that, and I'm like smiling. People like, why are you smiling, right? So I'm used to the fact that in US it's like a smile. And now when I go on the walk outside the house just to do like a daily walk, not to go crazy, people don't even smile. Like people look at you like they're just like, I'm like, wow, this is like so shocking to me. Like if you're keeping a long distance, you're at least 12 feet away from a person. You look at them like hoping you're going to see some smile, and people like look at you and then just turn around. Like that's been one of like the biggest shocking things for me. Like
same here. It's weird. It's really weird.
And so like if we go to the supermarket, you have to line up. And so you're not allowed to be, it's 2 meters for us. Is that 12 feet? I don't know. And so you line up, and there could be 150 people in the queue to get in the supermarket. Like it can take me 2.5 hours to go grocery shopping, and no one looks at each other. No one smiles. No one talks. It's this really morbid, depressing thing to have to go and do.
That's unbelievable.
Do you have to wear a mask in order to make your job, or?
No, they're not. They're encouraging people to not wear masks or gloves, but to come home or get in your car, use hand sanitizer, come home and wash your hands.
Okay.
Wow. Interesting. How is it for you? Is it, Emilie, is it the same people or people at least?
I laughing because my friend dentist told me it's crazy when I wear my PPE. I haven't my smile. My patient don't see the smile, and the patient see me with big eyes. And they are afraid, and we can't talk with the patient because we have the glasses, the mask, and my gloves, and it's very difficult. And she told me, I'm afraid because I think we will have a distancing with people, and perhaps with the time this distancing will be stay in place. We don't know how this situation will move in the future.
Yeah. That's fascinating. Yeah, I don't know how people can change that fast from like happy smiling to like not even looking at each other and try to run away. There's one question that Irina on my team, she was asking, a whole bunch of people from my team also watching, how's the toilet paper situation in each country?
when things started going a bit crazy, it was the same in New Zealand. The toilet paper sold out, and I did a grocery shop. This is before any of the lockdown happened, and I came home and I was like, I didn't even know if we needed toilet paper or not, but there was some on the shelf, so I just bought some just in case. Oh my gosh, now I'm becoming a panic buyer.
That's crazy. But any like stores are good, like no problems with the groceries, anything like that?
There's no, it's very difficult to come by things like flour and sugar, rice, those like pastas and things like that. That's lots of toilet paper, but none of those staple ingredients. I mean, I haven't really been able to buy that stuff for a while.
Emilie, how is it?
In the market, flour, only flour, I think.
No flour?
No.
Oh, wow. I wonder why.
No flour, chocolate.
Everybody's
because
cooking at home?
we eat a lot of cakes, chocolate, and other things. And papers, no. But we try to buy a lot of things by drive, and the delay for the drive is very long, 1 week, in order to buy some fuel products.
How is the home delivery? Like, are there apps that you guys have in each country that deliver groceries?
Yeah.
We do, but in our country, they've tried to encourage people that are not at risk to not use them, so that they can, because the delivery slots are hard to come by. So they're trying to say, if you are well and your family are well, go to the supermarket and leave those delivery slots for the at-risk people.
Interesting. Wow. Because in the US, they hired like 100,000 people in a week.
Oh, wow.
These apps, like I think Amazon or some of these apps, they like pretty quickly just started hiring because of all the home delivery services. And Instacart, I think, was another one that got like 75,000 people hired in 2 to 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the last week, my friend in New York phoned me and she asked me to send some mask because she told me I can eat because I can go out. Somebody wanted to deliver me because it is a rush here. So can you try to send me some mask just in order to make my shop and eat?
Wow.
And I say, okay, I try to phone UPS and to society. Okay, yeah, I prepare my pack and I send this pack. It's too expensive, but no, it's a friend.
Yeah.
And I can, my masks are not sent because it's forbidden by France. We can send mask and hydraulic solution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
This product can't go out
Interesting.
of the country. And I have my package in front of my house.
Oh, so you can't send the mask to another country?
Yeah. Twice.
Wow.
I use UPS and Chronopost, the mail of the country. The mail deliver, and it's not possible.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Out of interest, in France and in the US, are you able to order takeaways? Like takeaway food?
Yes.
You know what takeaways are?
Mm-hmm. Emily?
Take and away. Take and
Yeah, but not products, but actual, prepared food.
Yeah, like restaurants.
You can. Yeah,
Restaurant serving.
You can. You can as Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Yep, you can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We can.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But
No, we have this whole thing, like a lot of people trying to help their local restaurants to just go and order food to make sure that they stay in business. Because, I mean, obviously, restaurants are the first ones to get the hit. So, yeah, they're open.
Okay.
They do like the curbside pickup and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. I think we're about to change. We're at alert level 4 at the moment. I think we're going to change to alert level 3 sometime
in the next couple of weeks.
In that situation, we'll be able to do takeaway food at that time.
And I can't wait. I cannot wait.
You post all these beautiful pictures of food all the time. Yeah. But how is government helping these restaurants to survive?
Just the same as that wage subsidy that Jackie was talking about before. So everyone's just getting that, and that's it. So we expect that there's going to be a lot of restaurants closed down, I reckon.
What about like rents, business loans, if they have any of that, any support?
Yep. So the government has, it was really interesting. They did this press release and they said, right, all mortgages are going to stop for a minimum of 6 months. And we were like, great. Okay. Well, that helps the vast majority of people. And so then the banks went, oh my gosh, we've got to now somehow make this work. And they're not stopping mortgages. They are allowing you to do just interest only. And our interest rates are pretty low at the moment in New Zealand. So that is helpful. And that's across business loans, and like mortgages.
Mm-hmm. But there's no such thing as like no payments on credit cards, no payments on cars. Like you still have to make interest payments on these.
Yes, essentially, yes.
Okay. Interesting. Because like usually what rent and business loans or any mortgages is like, or for businesses would be the rent on the facility, and then any business loans that you have is like two major expense besides the team and the payroll. Anything, Emilie, anything like that for you guys that, you know, like you don't need to pay the rent or the mortgage on the house, like there's a deferred payment?
No problem. We don't know because on the Tuesday, our president decided to give some ads for all these businesses, but we don't know how he will do. Today, we have received 200 euro, so 200 $.
Per person?
Yeah, per professional.
Per professional?
Yeah.
Oh, as a dentist.
Yeah.
And you're still getting 100% of unemployment.
Yeah. But,
yeah, God.
That's what I'm telling you.
But,
you drink wine, you have chocolate, you know, life is good, and you get unemployment 100%.
Wow.
Move in France. Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Yay.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. Any other like interesting observations? Because like one of the things I'm excited about is people talk about that this thing that happened is like once in a generation, right? Like somehow we got lucky that we're getting experience of this thing, like of this magnitude, right? And it's interesting, Nic mentioned about the economical or financial crisis in 2007, 8, 9. And people say this thing is going to be probably even more than what happened before or the same. So I don't know. I'm not in the economy. I don't know the numbers. I don't claim to know the economy at all. So I'm just trying to see 10 years from today, when we look back, right? And we look at this very unique opportunity of government saying, sit home. In France, you get 100% unemployment, so you still get your money. And like, how are we going to look back at this, like from a business perspective, from the humanity perspective? Like, how are you planning to, or like thinking that you're going to look back in 10 years and what are the, I don't know, maybe positive takeaways you're going to have from this?
You go, France, go first.
First, I think it was a good opportunity for me because as consultant for dentists and other professionals in the health industry, it's good because we discussed with Tiger about our profession. It's a profession with a high value. So they didn't look the result and the way to buy and sell other things, the supply chain, the management. And today, I think things are changing because they want to share their material, they want to share their knowledges, they want to discuss with other dentists and practice together. And I think they are thinking that they are more efficient together, more stronger. And it's a good thing because dentists in France has an ego, a large ego. And
not only in France.
And I think it's a good thing. Yeah, for the profession and for our country, because we don't have the face this economic problem. I think we're not in a economic crisis. It's good because we are going to buy differently. I try to work with a farmer in order to buy my vegetables, and I try to think in another way in order to make my lesson with my students when I try to. I'm a teacher too, and yes, tonight we are discussing with 3 countries in same moment, and I think you will not know to this way in order to discuss, and in my opinion, it's very positive. Yeah,
that's amazing. That's really cool.
Have to live this, and we have a reason to live this. We have something to understand. I know.
Yeah,
awesome.
I agree with that in terms of even the New Zealand dentists have egos as well. And, but I have noticed the last few weeks that it has been a lot more collaborative in terms of like the Facebook groups for New Zealand dentists. I suppose because we're all in this together, no one has all the answers, that everyone is working together, and maybe some egos have been put aside for a while to sort of sort this out. In terms of the profession, because we're so, I suppose, hands-on, we get paid by touching people. It's a difficult, because I think worldwide, a lot of the way you do business is going to change after this. It's going to be trying a lot more sort of hands-off. So the difficulty for us is that we can't be hands-off. So what I've kind of been sort of playing with is sort of trying to be innovative in terms of trying to think of ways of doing things where we don't need to perhaps have so much contact with patients. And I suppose I'm lucky in fact, because I do a lot of orthodontics, I'm sort of, and have been for a while, moving towards more like the clear aligner treatments and things like that, and looking at ways of being able to do that remotely so that you don't actually really have to touch the patient so much. It's going to be, it's a tricky one within dentistry. To be able to do stuff virtually is very difficult, but it's trying to, I suppose, looking forward for our practice is trying to work out, are there things that we can be doing? Can we be doing consultations, like virtual consultations, rather than actually having to see the patients? And but it's not going to be easy, but there'll be some ideas that come out of this that will make us, I think, stronger going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Just for my 2 cents, I'm not talking about dentistry in particular, but I don't think our world will ever go back to what it was. Like, I think that there will be very long-lasting effects from this in terms of the social gatherings, the how we do our day-to-day shopping. I think that I doubt that it will ever go back to the way it was.
Mm-hmm. And back to that same, I'm just really curious how you think about the 10-year perspective. If you look, when you look back, what are you going to take with you from this 30 days or 40 days of like the quarantine? Like, what are you going to cherish in 10 years looking back?
For you,
if I make sense.
Yeah, it's
if anything.
Yeah, well, I think just being better prepared. I think if you think this is going to be just a one-off event, I think you're pretty naive. So I think just being better prepared, maybe financially. I mean, we sort of having sort of things in place so that something like this happens again, we have sort of a bit of a safety net. But I think having, for us personally, I want to work on trying to have some sort of passive income that's coming in regardless, whether it's, different business streams, something so that, if this kind of thing happens again, there's still money coming in without actually us having to see patients. So I think that's what's in the back of my mind.
Interesting. Wow, that's an interesting perspective. Emilie, anything for you to add? We're good?
Perfect. Good.
Perfect?
Perfect.
Awesome. Chocolate. I got it. That's what's important. Wine and chocolate. That's it.
Yeah, that's what we need.
We're moving. So when this whole thing is over, we got to go to France. Like, I'm dying to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the wine and all that stuff. Well, first of all, I want to thank you guys for just keeping that positive spirit, because I think the most important part right now is like we all know it's pretty crazy. It really depends what you listen to. I had to completely delete Facebook, at least on my phone, so I don't go back there. I don't even know what's going on. I hear people getting fights there, like it's really ridiculous. Some dental Facebook groups, people get in a fight. So I try to keep away. I even don't watch any news. So I just really try to like see what's out there, see what's going on, try to stay safe, and work with the team to make sure that we all stay safe and everybody's in the best way taken care of, the best we could. And I really appreciate that all of you guys keeping that same positive perspective, positive spirit, and laughing and joking. And because I think at the end of the day, just like Nic, you said, we're all in this together, and Emilie and Jackie all mentioned, like we're all in this together. Like we didn't create this, so we all happen to be in this thing. And one interesting phrase that I heard about this thing is, it's not so much how we get through this, it's how do we change to get through this. And that has been my perspective, is I don't want to be leaving the quarantine and a coronavirus the same as I walked into it. So I would love to change in a way that I have a different perspective leaving. And so, I don't know, one of the things for me was, maybe stop working at like 5 or 6 o'clock, like, and take a walk and go have a dinner with the family, play piano, like things like that. So these are the things I think I'm going to cherish and try to take with me after it's all over. So
yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. Awesome. So maybe we can do another one in like 4, 5, 6 weeks when we're back in business. Yeah.
We won't be smiling.
Yeah.
I want to go back to quarantine.
Exactly. Yeah. And then maybe we can have beverages. Emilie and I can have the wine and drinks, and you guys can have the coffee, or it depends. Maybe you can have a beverage too. I don't know, at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I can send you wine if you want.
You can't send the masks, but you can send the wine.
Okay.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your time, and stay safe, stay well, and we'll connect soon.
Yep, you too. All right, guys.
Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you so much.